Welcome to a new episode of Critical and Thinking. I'm Ty Barnett,
I'm Ian Harris,
and we got a lot of stuff to talk about.
we're gonna do a couple. We're recording. If you're watching on Facebook, we're gonna record. We're gonna do a bunch today, but we might cut it short early. And then for those of you who are listening, we don't know which episode it's gonna play. We're gonna record a few and release them later. So
We're gonna do this like we Tupac in the studio, just release an album after album after album, and that shit will come out after I get shot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. And people will be like, "Is Ty Barnett even dead?"
They'll be like, "He's in Cuba. I'm pretty sure he's in Cuba."
Yeah.
So, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. We're gonna do a mix of everything. We're gonna talk about a few different things. Let's just start it off with travel destinations. I want to do that because we hardly ever talk about this, even though we're both in the business of travel, and we both have significant others that don't travel like we do. But then when vacation comes around, then we have to pretend that we're really excited to get on a fucking plane. And we're not. I don't know about, I know I'm not.
Right.
Like, I don't mind getting, like I said, as soon as they invent teleportation, I will be one of the first people to sign. I mean, once they test it enough to make sure the shit's right and I get all my shit once I get there. I mean, you think it's shitty losing your luggage.
Right.
Imagine you get teleported and you lose an arm, a leg, or some shit like
That
that.
reminds me of Spaceballs. Why didn't somebody tell me my ass was this big? Has Snotty beamed you, sir? Snotty beamed me twice today.
Yeah, I've been beamed by Snotty. So no, I personally don't. I like as comedians, like I love getting to the destination. I love performing and all that stuff. It's just the to and from sometimes is hard.
Yeah.
But when vacation comes around, because that's when people are like, hey, aren't you excited to go to this different place? And I'm not always excited, like unless it's a trip I plan for myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, for me, I think I'm always excited to go someplace new. So although there's always that, I guess it goes both ways. Like I'm always super excited to on the trip out there. Like it's okay. So I'm going to my family and I are going to London and Paris this week. And vacation.
International man of mystery.
And then, like, literally the day I get back, I get on a plane and we go to New York.
That's right. I'm excited about that trip.
That's going to be fun. But so I got to fly 10 hours to England, which I'll be excited about because I'm going on vacation for 16 days. So I'm like, yes. And then I'm sure I'll be tired as fuck. So on the way back, I'll be like, I just want to get home. So I'll be all right to get on that plane. But then as soon as I land, then I'll be like, shit, I got a 6-hour flight back to New York tomorrow.
I know.
I should have flown from that, but this trip was booked before the New York trip. Otherwise, I would have flown from London, New York, and my family could have flown a different flight.
There.
Right.
First, let me say thank you to you for even doing that. Adam is here. Ola is here.
On my side here, we got Gabriel, Rayshawn, Robert, Jeff Gilbert, Jesse, Jess. We got a lot of people. Our Danny, what's up?
Ian is coming to hang out in New York. We're just doing a guy trip, man. You know what I'm saying? We're hoping to have some fun. We're gonna have some fun. Grown man fun. Grown man fun. But that's so. My whole point is that New York is the only place that I can get excited about going. Every time, like
I don't know why you don't live in New York. You like New York better than anywhere,
dude. Because I can't fucking afford. Well, okay, you know what?
It ain't that much worse than LA.
Well, here's the thing. You know how it is. Once you have business roots in a certain city, then you got to go with that, and you know how that is. So if I had the same business roots in New York, believe me, bro, it definitely would be.
I think though, I mean, it might be worth like spending a couple of months and seeing what kind of auditions, what kind of stuff you get out there, because there's a lot of TV shows shot out.
I'm trying, man, and I finally have an agent that's bi-coastal, so I'm trying to take advantage of that. I'm hoping that it works out that way. But you know how this is, dude. It's like,
well, if they're bi-coastal, they might get kicked. Oh wait, I was gonna say they might get kicked out of the country by Trump, but bi-coastal is something different.
They have their papers.
We do not like these bi-coastal people.
They got their papers,
We will not fly the rainbow flag.
They got their papers.
But you know what? Although now everyone's pulling out because of the fucked up abortion laws, but Georgia, Atlanta has been on fire lately. Man. There's like 6 shows booked there all the time.
I did my AIT training for the military in Georgia, Augusta, matter of fact, and I like Georgia. I do. I will say this.
But Atlanta would be, if you ever did relocate for TV, I know actors that move there that were, they got some work here, but they're day players all the time on shows because they're
but I don't
good
do
actors.
I don't do enough overacting to be on a Tyler Perry production. I don't do enough of that, man.
My daughter says that. My daughter's like, Dad, I don't want to, she acts, she's 14. She's like, I don't know if I really want to be on a Disney show. I'm like, why? She goes, I don't know that I can overact like that.
I know, it's hard, bro.
It's like sitcom, but hey, everybody, I'm home. And
yeah,
it's just like
I
so
know.
over the top. Who does that?
Oh, and it's hard because you feel like I know what you're asking for, but it's hard for me to do that with the same confidence. And you're right though. Like they do film a lot of stuff in Georgia, The Walking Dead. What else? A bunch of movies.
There's that Georgia show, isn't there one called Georgia or Atlanta or Peach or something?
Hilarious. ATL is Atlanta. It's Atlanta with Donald Glover. So I say Danny Glover. Riggs. But
I'm getting too old for this shit.
So they are, but you know what? To your point about the abortion thing, a lot of these people are threatening to pull out, which is, excuse the pun, they're threatening to pull out of their productions in Georgia because of the abortion law. And, they don't want to, and I'm going to tell you something.
And here's the thing, they're 23 weeks into that production, so now what?
That's it, how it plays.
Boom.
But here's the thing, money talks, and this is what people have to understand. So we'll see how this plays out, because when you threaten somebody's money,
right,
then they'll listen. Like,
that's why they're doing these abortions. Let's be honest. They're doing these abortion laws because their money comes from the religious right nuts. But once they realize, ooh, the money's actually coming from something else, then maybe we're not getting as much money from the religious. Remember, churches don't pay taxes, so they don't really give you shit.
That's right. They ain't giving you shit.
My friend Danny over here says, tip, do not Google grown man fun. All right, good.
Yeah, please. Yeah, we got to make sure we.
New York, grown man fun. Whoa, Ty, you didn't tell me that's what we were doing.
What did I just see? And I could tell you, and it was what I kept laughing at it every time. It was Shaft. That's what I just saw. Went and saw Shaft. Samuel L. Jackson. What's the name? Regina King. And it was a couple up and comers. But they had it was a line in there where the son works for this foundation called Brothers Watching Brothers.
Right.
And Shaft keeps saying, was there some kind of shit like that? He's like, no, it's vets watching out for vets. He's like, well, y'all might want to change that goddamn name. And so when he just said that, it just made me think of that, because he kept playing off of that Brothers Watching Brothers. What kind of site is that? But no, you know what? And let me tell you something. All right, so I'm gonna go off the one thing and then come back to the other thing. The reason why I'm excited about this trip to New York is because this is the first time ever that I'll have a chance to go to New York with my friends, my grown male friends.
Right.
I've been with my kids, I've been with my mom, my lady, and all that. This is the first trip where I'm going with my boys. So nice. It will be one of those trips where we're like, hey, we're not gonna do the hangover type shit. Hopefully everyone comes back and no no
yeah, luckily Ken John's not one of your boys.
No. What's up, Anthony? What's up, bro? How you feeling? Kim. Oh, actually, Anthony, I was actually in the military when we Augusta, when we in Augusta, Georgia, Fort Gordon. So
I can't hear Augusta, Georgia without thinking of every James Brown song. Augusta, GA. He says that in every song. Augusta, GA. I guess he must have been from Augusta.
Isn't that something, though, when you hear... Let me ask you something. You ever heard something about one of your old school heroes, and then you like, damn it. Like, I keep hearing all this shit about James Brown hitting people in the head with a frying pan, and I'm like, God damn it.
The thing is that, honestly, I really think this, and I don't... it's going to come off bad, but I don't think anybody... I think if you dig deep enough into anybody's past, especially back in those days, there's going to be some shit that you're like, oh. Like when people say, we talked about this with the blackface thing, where it's like, do you know in 1973, this guy dressed up as a black person for Halloween? It's like, yeah, you know what? You could probably find 90,000 politicians that did that too. Yeah, it was not excusing it, but when you look at things that people did in different times, first off, people are fucking psychos, period. We don't, but then they're famous, so it's magnified because we see it. But also, I mean, come on, James, that's like going, I can't believe what Little Richard did. You know what I mean? Like that these people have done everything under the fucking
It was a
sun.
different time. It's almost like when people talk about drugs.
Even nowadays, we're gonna find out shit that people are doing behind closed doors now. I mean, rich people and famous people, they have to do weird shit sometimes just to find normal.
Let me tell you something. I've heard so many stories about Richard Pryor, who to me still is number one to me. Yeah.
He's the number one comic of all time for me.
Of all time. There's not even, he's number one for me.
But he was not a good person.
But it depends on your standards of a good person.
Right.
Now, because you hear about the drug use, and you hear that he used to keep a fish bowl of Coke just in the house. Yeah. Like people keep sugar and shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And part of me is
for
like,
my
man,
coffee.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But part of me thinks that just was the time. You know what I'm saying? So at the time, that's what people were doing, and it made total sense. The womanizing. I got to be honest with you, bro. I have a different mentality about the shit now than I did then. But at the time, you're like, oh, shit. I mean, yeah, I love it.
No, but also Richard didn't just like women.
That's true too. But now again,
I think the 70s they were doing a lot of cocaine and people
said, fuck it.
I think people
Literally.
just did whatever back then.
They just
especially like back then he was just like, I'm a fuck it.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I think the thing is where Richard, from all accounts of his many wives that he's had, I don't think he was very nice. Not just womanizing, not just going out and having sex and looking up a different woman and cheating on his. I mean, talk about abuse and all sorts of stuff.
That's true. That's true. But now then,
you think about drugs.
That's right. You think about drugs, but you also think about his upbringing,
right?
And what he was used to. Let me tell you something. I had a conversation with my mom.
Right. Again, doesn't make it right.
No,
but
not
you
at all.
Understand like psychology.
Not at all.
If you're beaten as a kid, you're probably gonna learn that that's what you do.
Let me ask you something. Speaking of that, we're gonna be all over the board.
If you watch girls get smacked up because you lived in a brothel, you might think that's the normal thing. Yeah.
We're gonna be. By the way, we're gonna be all over the place with this podcast. So at least this episode, because we just kind of want to talk shit. I posted something. No, somebody posted something about spankings, and they said, well, spankings, and then how they just, they don't do anything, and blah blah blah. And I wrote, well, I got spanked as a kid. My brother got spanked as a kid, and I grew up with cousins that got spanked as well. I didn't say abuse. I said spanked. Right. So I wrote, boom, boom, boom. I turned out fine. My brother turned out fine. We raised our kids. But I also said, I don't believe, since I have daughters, I personally didn't feel right putting my hands on them because they're girls.
Right.
So I think my kids are 25 and 21. In their entire lives, I can count on one hand the times that I've spanked both of them. And every other time I just let me just talk to them because I felt psychologically kind of fucked with me.
Right.
So, but that doesn't mean I don't condone spanking because there's some of these motherfuckers out here, some of these little bastards is bad as hell. But this lady gets on, she's like, oh, then you must condone abuse. And it just goes off. And I said, no, I never once said abuse is fine. I said spanking on the bottom.
Right.
That's to let them know. Because I said, first of all, we're talking about discipline. There's a difference between discipline and beating the fuck out of your kid.
Right.
I don't condone doing that.
Go ahead.
So I was gonna say, to me, because I know Bella, and I know how you raise her and all that stuff. I know how you and Janine are. So I want, one, get your opinion on spankings, but two, what do you think when people say that spankings are all bad? Because she was saying they were all bad. Wait a minute, hold on a second.
Avi brings it back to the Astros.
I relate spankings, but only how. It's hilarious.
But so.
Avi.
Here's my thing about spanking. I've been kind of all over the map about on it at first, but until recently, again, I'm not big into it. And this not to say what you said. It's bullshit, Ty. But this idea that I always hear comics go, when I was a kid, we got our ass kicked, and I'm saying comics because you hear comics do bits about it, right? You've heard so many bits about timeout and all this shit, whatever, right? But the fact is that people say that, and then the people that I mean, half the time, not you, but I hear the people say, I'm like, yeah, and you aren't any better than any fucking buddy else. And most of the people out there, the majority of people out there, every fucking murderer, every fucking rapist, everyone that we know that's in prison right now that actually did it was probably also spanked. So I don't think that we can say that makes them, that spanking makes you better. And I also think that I've noticed that, I mean, there's again, maybe once or twice in my life where my daughter was so out of fucking sorts
Really?
When she was real, like, a couple times, where maybe a little on the butt, like, hey, get their attention. But I found, honestly, that taking away her shit worked a million times better
Right.
because it was long term. It was a week or two where they're like, I want my doll, or I want to watch TV. And it's like, nope. Remember when you fucked up and you lied or whatever? So I find that works. But I've always been like, yeah, but maybe a little this on the butt. Yeah, I'm not talking a belt or anything like that. But then they've done multiple studies now and actually tracked it for like 30 years. And they find that it's actually the opposite, that people that get even spanked, not just talk about hit or beat, but anyone who's used a violence, any sort of hitting, all that does is teach them that the way to act when you are frustrated is to hit things. So what they see is mom and dad are frustrated. That's what mom and dad do when they're frustrated. So what happens is when they're frustrated, they do it back. And sometimes people don't know the difference between that and that. Or
And see, that's why I say the talking to comes into play. Because let me tell you something I've always explained to my kids. I've never disciplined my kids without talking to them before or after. Never ever.
Right.
Never once have I ever just went off on them and didn't explain where it was coming from.
right.
And I feel like that's the part that's essential. You can't don't just hit somebody and tell them there's no reason. Because I'm not gonna lie, I have relatives, not my mom, but I have relatives that would
Right.
just be like, "Hey, I don't give a fuck what you say. I'm gonna pop you in the face, and you're wrong." Here's the thing: we never even got to ask. Like, if we said what,
Right.
oh my god, that was a wrap. It was like if we were in another room and she she called our name, like what? Oh, that's done. You're done.
Yeah.
So we never even did that. It was yes, sir, yes, ma'am, all that stuff. We didn't talk back, none of that stuff, because we didn't want to have to deal with that. And sometimes you would get that relative that would be like, because I said so.
I hate that shit.
Exactly. And
To this day, I hate that shit. I won't say it to my daughter.
and that's what's that. Like I don't agree with that. I totally don't agree with the just saying just because I said so. Because then that if you just hit somebody and then do that, then to me, to your point about the study, it reinforces that. But if you do spank a child and you say, listen, I've already warned you a number of times and you didn't listen, that's what you get. I also want them to understand that, listen, I don't want to have to do this, but I want you to understand that there's a hierarchy of discipline in this household. But because if kids don't understand that, they have a problem in the world, bro. Like if you don't respect your parents, if you don't respect your household,
agree with that.
you will have
I
problems
just think
in the world.
there might be other ways to enforce.
What up, John?
There might be other ways to enforce that without now. If I was going to make a case to, like I said, there's been once or twice where my daughter was having a fit and freaking out, probably when she was like 6 years old, screaming and yelling, just lost her mind. Maybe didn't eat, maybe was hypoglycemic, and like a little bit of a hey, like that, just to get her attention, almost like hitting a newspaper in your hand with a dog, not hitting hitting boom for the sound. Pop. But I will say that what's scarier to me was the scheduled spankings, and I think that actually
Scheduled spankings.
like if you got in trouble when your dad gets home, or you did that, you're getting a spanking later today.
Oh
When
my
we
God.
get home,
I never even thought about it. Like
you're getting a because at least the good thing about that is that it's not out of frustration. It's not boom boom boom.
Right.
I'm frustrated. I gotta hit something. It's
Yeah.
your punishment for being a shit.
Right.
Is later on I'm gonna whack you on the butt a couple times. Then it's like you feel okay. This is what happens when I do something bad. I still don't know that that's right.
Could you imagine that nowadays? Getting the schedules like your friends like, yo, you coming over later? It depends on how the spanking goes, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
If I can walk or not. My dad, I do this and talk about this in my act, but my dad literally one time spanked me with a Lincoln log.
Ooh.
Because I was fighting over the toys or whatever, and he picked it up and he's like whap, whap on the butt. And I'm like, I think we got a belt a couple of times, but
What do you think about the people who? Because I hear these stories of people who get caught smoking or drinking, and then someone says, "Well, you got to go smoke this entire pack of cigarettes." What do you think about that?
I always think that's funny. Let's see. Here's an addictive substance. You got caught doing this addictive substance. What I'm going to make you do is do it a lot. That's like going, oh, you're doing heroin. Well, you're not leaving until you've done 6 months of heroin.
Right. Do you do the speedball?
It's like, it's kind of weird. Like, you're smoking, yeah? Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to smoke for the next year and see how that does for you.
Let us know what you think out there, if you agree with spankings or not. I am still of the mindset, because I see a lot of these kids out here, bro. Hey, man, I saw a kid smack his mom in the face, bro. And it was everything in my power to not pop that kid on the button. Like, ma'am, you sure you don't want me to just take care of this for you?
Well, but okay, I'm dealing with this at the gym. I won't mention names, but I'm dealing with a kid at my gym. He's 15. His mom took him away from the gym because she said he hit her. And she called me and she was like, he hit me. I mean, I had to go through a translator.
First of all, the last place that kid needs to be is in the gym learning how to fight.
Well, that's what she said. She was like, he's learning this stuff from martial arts. I'm like, no, he's not learning that from martial arts. So I called him and he goes, I didn't hit her. So I had them both come down, and I had to translate her because the mom doesn't really speak much English. But his story was, he goes,
did
no.
An arm bar?
Yeah. He goes, no. He goes, my mom came in and started yelling at, I was playing video games and cursing. My mom came in and yelled at and started hitting me. And he goes, so I grabbed her and said, stop hitting me. I restrained her from hitting me. And when I let go, she smacked me in the face, and I pushed her away like this. And she says that's hitting her. I'm like, well, yeah, maybe you shouldn't put your hand in your mom's face. But he's like, I tried to restrain her and calm her down because she was just coming and just started wailing on me. And when I let go, she smacked me in the face. So I pushed her away. And she says that it wasn't a push, it was a smack.
Right.
And I'm sitting here going, no, I get he's your kid, but you can't run into a room and start solving it by punching the kid and smacking him in the face. And that's not martial arts' fault. That's you beating on your kid's fault. Honestly,
did she tap out?
Yeah, exactly. If somebody comes running in and starts smacking me in the face and punching me, I'm not just gonna stand there and let him blast me in the fucking face.
Okay.
It's a weird situation.
Now, here's the thing.
We don't know what goes on.
Here's the thing, and let us know what you think out there. Write into the show. Subscribe to the show, by the way. Critical and Thinking Podcast.
And Patreon.
And
Patreon.com/critical
Let us know what you think
thinking.
about this, because this is actually really interesting. Because that scenario you just gave me, bro. I am 80% on the mom side. Here's why. The kid's 15. You live in your mom's house. You don't pay for shit, bro.
Right.
You don't pay for bills, nothing.
Sure.
First of all, why are you cursing? You're not old enough to be cursing. Like, you shouldn't.
Unless you don't care.
No, but I'm saying,
like, words don't bother me.
No. But what I'm saying is, if you are around, because I'm not naive to this. I know, like my kids. I know my kids probably start cursing way before they were 25 and 21. I'm not stupid, but they don't curse around me.
Right.
If you're around your friends and you're doing it, cool. But if you're in my home, nah, we don't do.
Well, but that's your rule, though, right? But if that's not my rule, so it doesn't bother me.
No, not you. But I'm saying, like, this. But to me, it sounds like.
All right, so again, my point is, okay, so you're in the other room, you're playing video games, you're like, oh fuck, shit. Your mom can come in and go, bro, son. So don't curse in my house.
So that's why.
Okay, Mom, you don't walk in and go, motherfucker, cursing in my motherfucking house.
But that's why.
That's not how it works.
Which, by the way, I'm telling you right now, I know people in Chicago that would have been like, yeah. First of all, but I also know kids that wouldn't do it. I know kids in Chicago. There's no way in the world they cursing in their parents' house like that. Not at all. Not even in another room. Right. But I understand what you're saying, and this is why I say the 20%. I give to the kid, because the mom should not come in and just put her hands on the kid. There's another way to discipline the kid. You
know what you do? You take his fucking video games away.
What up, JP?
Because that's what he wants. Take his video game.
Okay,
that's what you do.
So real quick, because JP probably has a really good perspective on this. We're talking about spankings. Do they work? Are they necessary? And because JP and I all three of us actually, we're all around the same age range. We come from an age of spankings, or where it was cool in the generation before the government got involved and said you can't put your hands on your kid and all that shit. Thank you, bro. We both appreciate that. So we're talking about spankings and should you do them. I was telling Ian here, because he was telling me that he has a 15-year-old student whose mom came in because he was cursing in the house. JP, by the way, did you curse in your house when you were 15? Were you allowed to curse? I was not allowed to curse.
Right.
So I agree with you on the fact that the mom should not just come in and start hitting the kid. She should try it another way. But here's the other part.
The kid. Sorry, there's not yet.
But
we're getting there. No calling yet.
Here's the other part, though. The kid, hey man, I'm sorry, man. You walk away. You hold her to the side or whatever. You don't put your hands on your mom. You don't.
I disagree with that.
No,
If someone is hitting me, what he did was the right thing. He said, "Hey."
Did he push her in the face?
No, I'm talking about restraining her.
No, restraining is different because like, hey, calm down.
Yeah, no, the push in the face was absolutely wrong.
That's where.
But again, it was still in the heat of the moment. You got someone wailing on you,
Still.
and you let go, and they smack you in the face.
It's your mom, bro. Let me tell you something.
I agree. I agree.
You don't.
I agree, but she is at fault first, and she should not.
She's
that's
the parent.
not how you. But that's
She's
not,
the parent,
But that's
bro.
not how you discipline your children.
No. Again, this is why I said I get.
And I don't care if I don't care if it. But what if the dad was to bend him over and fuck him? Like, well, he's the dad.
Whoa,
I'm saying,
hold on.
No, physical abuse. I mean, I'm saying just because they're the parents don't mean they have absolute right to do whatever
all
the
I'm
fuck they want
saying to you is, all I'm saying to you is, there are ways to deal with that. That kid. First of all, the kid was in the wrong. Period. Off the top. You do not. First of all, and again, this is just how I was raised. You don't disrespect your home by curse. You're not even allowed to curse when you're 15. You're just not.
Well,
I understand
don't know
it's
his
different
rules.
now. No, I get it, but I'm saying I understand it now. But how I was raised and how the people I know
he was also
raised,
in the room by himself playing video games.
doesn't matter. If his mom heard him loud enough, he was cursing loud enough. I can understand if you're playing the game like,
Right? No, I agree. So if you're the mom, you come in and go, hey, if this is a rule in my house, you don't curse in my house, then you say, okay. And if he goes, fuck you, okay, then we're a different story.
Right.
But that's not what happened by both accounts.
I get it. She overreacted by the coming in and smacking him, but I'm just saying you don't put the restraining. I'll give him up to the restraining.
Right.
But if the mom smacks him, you walk away, bro. You don't put your hands on your mom. Bro. You
No,
don't.
I agree. I agree that it escalated for sure. But I'm just saying that the bottom line is you shouldn't. When does that end? So what if the mom close fist punched him? He just sits there and goes, "Thank you, mom. Thank you, mom. Thank you, mom."
No, you walk away.
What if you're trapped in a room? You're up against the wall. You're in
No. It's your mom. Your mom ain't overpowering.
Well, he may have to
let me
push
tell
her
you
out of the
something.
way.
Let me tell you something.
What if he has to push her out of the way to get by the door?
Well, okay. Again, that's the gray area. I'll be honest with you
Right.
on that. There is a gray area. But let me give you an example, bro. Let me tell you something. My mom, let's see, I'm 46. My mom is smaller than me. I know I'm stronger than my mom. I know I am. Let me give you a prime example of how psychologically my mom is. Example, not too long ago, I was traveling back from somewhere, and I guess I talked to her the night before, and I said, "Yeah, Mom, I'll be home tomorrow. I'll give you a call when I get home tomorrow." So I call. No, I said I'll give you a call later on tonight. I didn't end up leaving until the next day. So I got home the next day. I'm calling her. I'm tired from traveling. I'm in a bad mood. I'm all pissed off and shit. She calls me and she's like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Hey, Mom, I'm just heading home." She's like, "You just now heading home? I thought you were heading home yesterday." I'm like, "Yeah, Ma. Yeah, and let me tell you something, bro. Let me tell you something." My mom was like, "Well, you said you was." She did it just like this. She's like, "Well, you said you." Wait, hold on. What do you mean? And dude, I felt like I was 4 fucking years old again. I was like, I mean, I'm just saying, Ma. I mean, I was I'm home today, but my whole point is that, first of all, my mom's not gonna come in and just start punching me in the face.
Right.
She's not gonna do that. Secondly, there is a hierarchy, and I feel like if kids understood this, and this is why I say it's a two-side thing. That kid obviously has no problem cursing in the house, which is something that was not set up by the parent.
Well, can I tell you, I don't want to talk too much. I haven't said his name, but I actually said, he goes, look, I get it. He goes, I get angry and I yell and scream. This is what he said. He goes, I get angry and I yell and scream. He goes, and I know that's wrong, but I asked my parents if we could go to counseling and they said no.
Okay, so then that's okay. That's different because, but I just want you to be. I want to be clear though.
But so my point with your mom, like I'm the same way. I mean, again, cursing is a totally different thing because I think that's a completely made up what we decide is bad.
Two things before you say that.
What?
JP says your mom gets that pass, and I agree with that.
Nope.
But he also said my mom can hit me today, and I'll have to eat that. I'm just being honest. But go ahead, continue.
Well, you know what?
No,
Sorry,
continue.
no offense, JP, you're wrong. But the thing is this: nobody gets to lay their hands on anybody ever. Okay, period. Unless it's provoked. And if my mom just walks in and starts fucking punching me, I'm not going to punch my mom back because I obviously could kill my mom with a fucking punch, but I'm not going to just sit there and let my mom punch me. That's fucking nonsense.
No, again,
but
what I'm saying to you is I totally agree with you on the restraining.
But also the hierarchy thing, like same thing. If my daughter's great, like I said, there's been 1 or 2 times in 14 years where I've had to You know, she gets a little snippy and whatever. She's a 14-year-old, but it's pretty rare. And if anything, it's like go to your room or take something away. But the point is that I think there's kids that are just genetically more respectful. There's kids that have an understanding of things. Maybe it's an intelligence thing. There are some kids that are going to be evil fucks, sociopath types. They're going to be fucked up regardless of how they're disciplined. And there are going to be people that you can, there's nature, there's nurture, there's both. And so I'm just saying that I think that there are ways to deal with it without hitting. And you can still have that hierarchy. You can still say, you know, if you can still say, you don't talk to me that way, and here's the consequences for talking to me that way. And 40 years later, and be like, yes, Dad, I'm sorry. Yes, Mom, I'm sorry. Without hitting somebody.
But I can tell you for sure, just going off that little bit of story, what you told me about that kid, I guarantee you there were no parameters set up or maintained in that household. I can tell you that for sure.
Well, and obviously hitting is not a problem in that household because they do it all the time. And it hasn't worked.
And that's wait. That's what I'm saying. Something was not set up in the very beginning for that kid to think he could act that way, and something was not understood by the parent to go in there. So it's a disconnect on both sides. But again, the number one thing, and this is why I say, man, and I will stick to this. If kids don't have any set of disciplinary rules in their own home, they are more likely to have problems. I'm not saying that it's a given either way. I'm saying they're more likely to have problems in society.
I don't think anybody's arguing that. I think what they're arguing is the method of discipline. And every study shows that hitting is the worst method of discipline. So now, I'm not saying that time out, Tyler, you don't get to play on your computer today, go in your room and play on your iPhone. I'm not saying that's discipline either. But I'm saying, yes, discipline is absolutely necessary. Yeah. The question is, what is discipline? And the fact is that everything shows that if you hit out of frustration, it only teaches kids to hit out of frustration. That's what it says. And like I said, I used to be on the other side with that, but I mean, the data doesn't fucking lie. Like
I'll give you another scenario real quick, but I want to address what JP just said here a second ago. He says, my mother wouldn't just wake me up and hit me. If she hits me, I have to check myself and ask what went on. That's totally fair. He says real parents don't just don't hit. It's the last resort. Also true. My mother's voice hits. Okay, that's what I mean.
Right. So, but that's fine. So, but his mother's voice hits. Okay, voice is fine. I didn't say anything about verbal.
No.
But my point is that she wouldn't just wake up and hit me. Well, and I don't think anyone's talking about that. We're not talking about whether or not somebody just wakes up and hits you. That's called abuse. My point is that there are other ways to discipline that are more effective. Factual.
Oh, no. I
so
totally
what I'm
get
saying
that.
is that it's a last resort. Well, what kind of fucking nonsense shit are you doing? And it's a last resort. How many people are going to family counseling? How many people are actually doing these other things? When people say it's a last resort, that's bullshit. It's I told you. Yeah, well, I told you again. Nah, whap. That's not the fucking last resort.
I'm gonna give you.
And if you're that fucking bad, you've got major fucking social problems.
I'm gonna tell you
major problems.
I'm gonna tell you another scenario, and it's weird because, like I said, I have girls. JP, by the way, actually has girls as well.
But so why wouldn't you hit your girls if it's not a problem?
No, and I'll tell you. I'll give you a specific scenario related to me and my oldest to help you understand something. Their mom, and we won't go into details about how everything was, but she kind of would get in their head and try to say fucked up shit about me to kind of just screw my relationship up with my kids. And I kind of saw signs of this. I saw it.
Horrible.
Exactly.
Horrible parenting.
So I saw signs of this, and I would kind of like notice, and she would swear she's not doing it, but I would see it. So I'll give you a specific example one day. We're playing video games, and at the time, my oldest was, I want to say 16, 17, something like that. I don't know, somewhere around there. Maybe a little bit younger. Anyway. We're playing video games, and we talk trash when we play video games. That's fine. Totally cool with that. And her friend was there. Her friend happened to be there watching us play. And I told you, I kind of felt this friction for a while. I felt this friction for a while, man, but I just couldn't, nobody was admitting that mom definitely wasn't admitting what the situation was. So we're playing the game, and she's winning, but she's talking trash. And then she said something, and I said, okay, well, I'm done. I'm going to go. And she said something, bro, to the effect of, basically calling me a loser or some shit like that. Like, mad disrespectful, bro.
Right.
Mad. I jumped over the couch, grabbed her by the shoulders, and pushed her down on the couch. And let me tell you something, bro. she was like, "What the fuck?" Right? And let me tell you how I know that it has something to do with how her mom was talking. Because when that happened, she looked at her mom and said, "You're gonna let this man put his hands on me. Not my dad. You're gonna let this man put his hands on me." So that's when her mom finally stood up and said, This is your dad. Da, da, da. Here's my whole point to that. I didn't hit her, none like that. But I shoved her on the couch and I had to say to her, I said, "Do you understand who the fuck you talking to? Do you understand who you're dealing with right now?" I said, and her friend looked at her like, "Oh shit."
Right.
Because she knew she had fucked up. And I said, I couldn't bring myself to hit her, but what I also wasn't going to let happen, this is beyond words right now.
Right.
And so when JP comes and says it's a last resort, that's what I think of. Because, like, I can't hit her because I'm going to tell you right now, even that little bit right there, Ian, made me feel like shit.
I feel you.
Because I didn't want to have to do that.
Right.
And I remember saying to her, and I meant everything I said by, "You don't disrespect me, da-da-da-da," all that shit. But when I left and I was in the car, bro, I was fucked up for a while because I'm like, why did I even have to do that?
Yeah,
But
because you reacted out of anger or out of frustration.
But I also did not feel like it was the wrong thing to do because at that point, we've already talked numerous times. You already know the structure. I come from a military background, so she already knows how I am about that type of stuff.
Well, how old was she at the time?
I want to say she definitely was no older than 17, 18, somewhere around there. You know what I'm saying?
But so we're also past the I'm disciplining a child state too, though.
Right, exactly. Right. So what I'm saying, and JP has 4 daughters, by the way. So I get what you're saying, and believe me, bro, I totally agree because, again, I did feel shitty for even having to do that. But I also feel like there are a lot of these kids out here, man, that go beyond that, dude. They go beyond that.
I agree, but I don't. But here's the thing: is every one of those kids I know, they keep doing it, and they end up being fuck ups later. And no matter what their discipline that they're doing, it doesn't work. Like I say, how many comics do you know that do a bit about when I was a kid, we got our ass beat, and I'm fine, and then the next thing out of
that's
their mouth,
actually more abusive.
But and then the next thing out of their mouth is, "Well, I grew up, every one of my friends is in jail." Well, I thought you just said you guys are all fine. Like, what? You can't. It can't be both. It can't be everyone I know robs and does this and it fucked up. And I grew up in this shitty community, and 9 people I know got shot. When I was good, we got beaten. We all turned out great. No, you didn't. You just said 9 of your friends are in prison. Stop. Right. Stop. You're either going to be a shitty person or you're not going to be a shitty person, and we can only help that along a little bit. And I think, yes, you have to discipline kids, and that starts early. Some kids aren't going to be able to be disciplined. Some kids are going to be super easy to discipline. Right. Some kids are going to do it, but it's going to take work. But I think certain kids react to certain things differently. That is a fact. But some kids don't react to that. Some kids do react to that.
I also think that there should be there has to be an understanding of the chain of command, and I get that from the military as well. Which, by the way, I'll tell you, when my oldest was about 4 or 5.
Put her in the military.
She's an earner, Ian.
I had a
She's
drill
an earner.
Arlie Ermy came over. I will rip off your throat and shit down your 5-year-old neck. What is your major malfunction, toddler?
No, but when she was younger, I give you a prime example. She didn't want to go to bed. She wanted to stay up and be a toddler and just keep talking and all that. Oh man, I did think about that, JP. I did think about that.
Although we're literally do the next one because we're 2 minutes. We got to go.
Okay, we'll put you on the next one. We're doing another 40.
And we never talked about travel, so we got to go back to that. We'll do on the next one.
We'll do that on the next one. I'll put you on to speak on the next one, JP. So stick around because we're recording 3 episodes today, and then we can continue part of this on the next one. But she was about 4 or 5 years old. She didn't want to go to sleep. She wanted to stay up late and be rambunctious, you know. And her mom couldn't get her to go to sleep. So I said, okay, well that's fine. Let's do this. I said, I had these combat boots, right? And they're heavy. They were heavy to me as an adult. Right. So I said, okay, you want to stay up? No problem. So I said, go get my boots, and I want you to stand in the middle of the room. And she was standing there just holding them to her side. I said, no, hold them up like this.
Right, I think
you know what I'm saying? And dude, I kid you not even 5 minutes later, bro, she was like, okay, I'm ready to go to bed.
But that's my point. That is a way better way to teach a lesson and to discipline somebody.
No, I get it.
I totally get it. A way better way. See, I think that's fucking great. Like, I think that's a great idea. Yeah. Make them do work. Make them do push-ups. Then they're disciplined and buff.
Hilarious. Hilarious.
Well, we got to go. That's 40. We're doing 3 episodes today because we're going to be on vacation. We're going to continue this conversation, and we'll
So
go
we
back
should keep
to,
these people around.
Yeah, we'll keep these people around. We're going to say goodbye for the podcast people. People live. We're going to keep going for another.
Yeah, we're
another
gonna keep
episode.
going live. So stick around, JP. Actually, JP, call me right now.
All right, but we're going to say.
Yeah, this is part 2. JP, call me
All right,
now.
So but we should say goodbye to the people that are watching.
Yeah, he can cut it in half.
All right, cool. Well, those people that are listening, stay tuned next week for part 2. And
That's
in the
right.
meantime, go to criticalandthinking.com or
right.
patreon.com/criticalandthinking. Help us pay the bill so we can keep doing this. We love doing it. Please do that. Comedian Ty Barnett,
Yes.
IanHarrisComedian.com.
That's right.